But you were poor. You write in your book about eating worms and having a toy that was a brick.
Here's the thing that I always say to people. Being poor in a group or in a community that is poor is not as bad as being poor when you know what you're missing out on.
Trevor Noah is a comedian, political commentator, author, a television host on The Daily Show, and a plethora of other things at the time of this recording. He is 38 years of age, and in this video I want to check and know how he got to the estimated net worth of $100 million. Did he get it the legal way, or did he get it a sketchy way? After all, he is from the fifth most dangerous country in the world. Although Trevor Noah has been the host of The Daily Show for more than 6 years, he has actually been in the entertainment/comedy space for some time now. He's not an overnight success.
My name is Trevor Noah, and I'm from South Africa. I've been in the United States for a few weeks now, and I'm not going to lie, this isn't the America I was promised.
But to get a better understanding of who Trevor Noah is, we have to take a trip back in time, back to South Africa, his home country. Trevor Noah was born during a tough time in South Africa. He was born during the apartheid era. For those who don't know what apartheid is, it was a time in South Africa where black and white people were not allowed to mingle, and Trevor Noah is a mix of those two. Noah's mother was a Xhosa woman, and his father was a white man from Switzerland. Trevor was born a crime.
I grew up in South Africa during a time known as apartheid. And for those who don't know, apartheid was a law in the country that made it illegal for black and white people to mix, which was awkward for me because I grew up in a mixed family, with me being the mixed one in the family.
Trevor Noah was raised by his mother and grandmother in Soweto, an urban area just outside Johannesburg that was set aside for black people. Fearing for his safety, she sometimes had to hide Noah from the police because mixed-race children were often taken away from their parents. Luckily for Trevor, apartheid ended when he was 10 years old in 1994. Fast forward 8 years after apartheid in 2002, Trevor landed an uncredited bit in an episode of the South African soap opera known as Isidingo. Although it was a small part, it did start a snowball effect that got him hosting an educational show on a family public television channel. And after that, he hosted a radio show called Noah's Ark. Then when he was 22, his friends dared him to perform a comedy routine at a nightclub, and he entertained the audience with his humorous stories about his friends and his life. That night, he had discovered his talent and decided to continue performing at small events and comedy clubs, gaining him more and more fans along the way. As his popularity increased in South Africa, he began hosting television shows like sports shows, dating game shows, as well as major awards shows. And in 2008, Noah appeared as a contestant on the reality dance competition show called Strictly Come Dancing.
Trevor and Haley, you two ignited the floor in episode 1 and 2. You gave all the other couples something to chase. Last week, Salome said you'll definitely be through to the finals. And
although being on TV brought him money, he knew that to make millions, he had to start doing one-man shows. So in 2009, Noah performed his first ever solo comedy show called The Day Walker. The event was held in a theater consisting of 1,100 seats, and every single seat sold out, and the DVD recordings of the show became a bestseller. 3 years after that, he did his second solo show. While he was not doing the one-man shows he was hosting. For instance, in 2010 to 2011, before the second solo show, he had a television talk show called Tonight with Trevor Noah. By 2012, Trevor had moved to the United States. During this time, he became the first South African comedian to appear on the American television talk show called The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. In 2013, Noah starred in a TV comedy special called African American and started his comedy tours in Europe, Africa, the Middle East, which were highly successful. With all this success, Trevor still remained lesser known in the United States. But all that was about to change, because in 2014 he began appearing as a correspondent on Comedy Central's satirical television news program known as The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. The next year, after Stewart announced that he was stepping down as a host, Noah was announced as his replacement. The Daily Show with Trevor Noah continued the format of the half-hour news program. The opening monologue typically summarized the day's main stories and included sarcastic punchlines. It was usually followed by a mockumentary feature that consisted of humorous reporting on an unusual or newsworthy topic. The show concluded with an interview segment that typically featured a celebrity or major political figure. The Daily Show grew Noah's popularity in the United States. especially after he incorporated commentary on the international current state.
People need to ask, genuinely, people need to ask themselves that question. What are you most afraid of? Why are you afraid of power shifting to another gender or to another race? Ask yourself that question, because I think deep down inside, you'll find yourself admitting to something that you wouldn't admit otherwise out loud. That's all I'm saying. It would have been great if Barack did that, though, you gotta admit.
In addition to hosting The Daily Show, Noah continued to tour worldwide, performing stand-up comedy in sold-out venues. He created several comedy specials such as Lost in Translation in 2015, Afraid of the Dark in 2017, and Trevor Noah, Son of Pretoria in 2018. In the same year, Noah partnered with American media conglomerate Viacom to launch a Day Zero production, an international production and distribution company, and he began the non-profit Trevor Noah Foundation based in Johannesburg to help young people develop skills to succeed as adults in the workforce. Noah's memoir called Born a Crime, Stories from a South African Childhood was released in 2016, and a few years later published a version of the book for younger audience titled Is Trevor Noah Born a Crime? In 2019, Noah started On Second Thought, a podcast featuring different opinions on varied topics as sports, race, and science, and hosted the Grammy Awards ceremony in 2021 and 2022.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards. My name is Trevor Noah, and I'll be your host tonight as we celebrate the last 10 years of music that got us through the last 10 years of coronavirus. I know it's been 1 year, but it feels like 10.
And that brings us to today. Mr. Noah is making millions of dollars from The Daily Show in business ventures. Matter of fact, the only guilty thing Trevor does is owning a lot of expensive cars, like a Chevy Tahoe, which offers 3 rows of welcoming seats, a Lamborghini Aventador with a price tag near $500,000, a Rolls-Royce C, which is the most luxurious and expensive version of the Rolls-Royce series, and a Tesla Model S because he fancies electric cars. Apart from owning cars, he's a casual house buyer. In 2017, he purchased a duplex in New York, Manhattan, which he uses as his primary residence whenever The Daily Show is being taped. In 2019, Trevor Noah reportedly bought a mansion in the Bel Air neighborhood of Los Angeles for $20.5 million, and a little less than 2 years later, he sold it for $21.5 million. Then in 2021, he paid $27.5 million for another house in Bel Air, listing it just 10 months later with an asking price of $30 million, selling it to Travis, the founder of Bed Scooter, in March 2022.